get past man to man. Everybody was looking at Aaron Rodgers like he has to figure it out. No, what I'm talking about is on the end of the quarterback. If Kyler Murray is going to be a superstar, he has to figure something out. He was running too early. That's on him. He was throwing too early. That's on him. He's an escape artist.
He's got the pressure.
But he's an escape artist, bro. He's not a pocket. He's not a pocket passer, bro.
Into you before you get a chance to set him.
Yes, and I can agree there. But is Kyler Murray a good quarterback on the run? Yes, he is. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of From the Sideline podcast. I'm your host, Troy, and I'm back with the boys. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
What's going on, brothers? How's it going, fellas?
We got Titan up in the building, man. What's up, Titan?
Always.
All right.
Tighten up.
We got Roy back. What's up, Roy?
I'm back, man.
How you feeling, man? We got to get into them Steelers later on today. All right, guys. We got a special guest in the building, man. I'm not even going to waste no time. Matt, I'm going to kick it to you. Introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, man. Matt, I appreciate you guys having me on. My name's Matt Tchir. And, man, I used to live up in Jersey. Went down to Florida. Went to FIU. Went to college down there. Played ball down there for 4 years. And now I live in hot Atlanta, but it's not very hot right now. Just getting through the snowstorm here recently. No, but we're I'm doing well, man. I'm grateful to be on the show with you guys. Grateful to talk some sports, and it's gonna be a good time.
Great to have you here, man.
Glad to have you.
Same. Good to have you, man. You know, it's always good to have other people come on with other opinions, and you actually have a basketball background, so it makes it a little bit more special for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna kick it to Frank and Roy, man. You got any questions for our guest, Matt? Hit him with them.
Yeah, let me just start off with I got a couple questions for you, good brother Matt. All right, thinking back on that Cinderella season back in '95, where you guys were the lowest seed, I believe in the Atlantic Sun tournament, and you guys wind up winning your conference to get a bid for the tournament. Is there anything that you learned, whether it be life lessons, whether it's something that you learned on the court, or going through that tough stretch in the tournament? Is there anything that you learned that you sort of carry with you till today, whether it be life-wise, anything vital off the court-wise?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It was actually before the Atlantic Sun. It was the Trans-American Athletic Conference. And that was back in 1995. And man, so many life lessons, not just from that season, but just by playing sports in general. You learn so much. But that run, you called it a Cinderella run, and it really was because we were, you got 9 teams in the conference, and we were in 9th place. I mean, we were having
exactly.
At one point, we were 3-11. Our coach had resigned, although he was going to finish out the season. He made it clear that at the end of the year, he was done. We had a lot of internal conflicts. There were fights between players. There was an NCAA investigation going on. We're losing games. Morale's low. There's maybe, there's probably more people on the bench than at the games watching. I mean, it was just, it was tough to be a Panther back then. But we had a senior-only meeting, and we were like, guys, we can't go out like this. We just can't.
Mm-hmm.
We put the work in. Nobody's worked harder. We know what we did in the offseason. We were in the weight room. We can't just let this morale take over. So we started turning it around, and we had to win the last 5 out of 6 games just to get into the conference tournament. And we were going to the very last game of the year playing the number 1 team on their senior night. It was Stetson, and they had 2 all-conference guards on their team, and we ended up beating them. So we got 8th place into the conference tournament. It was in Orlando at UCF, and so we had to play them in the first round because we were number 8 seed. We beat them, and then the next game we played Southeast Louisiana. They beat us twice throughout the year, like most teams. And we were in overtime.
Yeah.
We went for the three, and we made a shot with 4 seconds to go and won that game. Then we played Mercer on ESPN, and we ended up beating them. And so we went on a 3-game run there. We won, what was it, 5 out of the last 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But really, I think the main thing that I've learned that I put into practice, I'll be 49 this year. But something
Congrats, man.
that I would say the number one thing I've learned, and there's many things, but just to kind of crystallize it down to one thing, it's about, life's going to smack you in the face. And you don't know that really as a 22, 21-year-old kid going to college, and
That's right.
you think life is going to be easy. Well, it's not. But perseverance through adversity. I mean, that's the biggest thing, because we did hit adversity. We did have to pull up our bootstraps. We did have to, find that intrinsic motivation. We did have to kind of deal with those challenges. And then we saw the fruit of our labor. We put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think no matter what's going on, you can't get to the point where you lose hope and you give up. Quitting's not an option. I mean, it's not even on the table. And so, and that applies in everything. You might have to switch directions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you just plow through something where life is telling you no, but it might just be a different route. It might be something else, but you just don't give up. You just don't give up. So, but that's a great question. Appreciate that one.
Yeah, I have a question. So, coming into a tournament as a 16th seed, everyone has that, that notion of, oh, okay, that's it. Like, 16th seed at that time, 16 seeds never beat a number 1 seed. We all know that. But as a coach, you go into that game. And so what did your coach tell you guys before heading into that game?
95, so it's about to get animated.
Yeah.
Well, our coach was he was an old school guy. He coached under Bobby Knight in the 1976 team that went undefeated. So he was an assistant there, and he was he was an X's and O's guy.
Right.
And we were prepared every game. We knew what that team was going to do. Coach was business as usual. I mean, he said, "Let's go shock the world. Let's put the work in. No one. I mean, you shouldn't even be here, so you're on house money." And so he prepared us. He allowed us to enjoy the moment. But I will tell you one thing. A couple of the guys, I won't put them on blast right now, but a couple of the guys kind of were feeling themselves. They were out partying. They didn't make it to practice on time. And let me tell you something, Coach, he doesn't. We're all at practice, right? And so we're running through our 3-man weave. We're getting warmed up. And Coach is all about, hey, go ahead and get warmed up. But once it's time to go game speed, you're going game speed with every drill. You're not going halfway. So, 35 minutes into practice, we're pretty tired already because he's got us going. And he's projecting his anger on these guys that didn't show up on us.
Oh, man.
So after these guys walk in the gym for practice, he calls everyone to the middle, lays into them, and then just starts practice all over again. And
such for the people that was there.
But all in all, man, this guy, he prepared us for life. I'm telling you, he was not gonna give you your flowers. He wasn't gonna hype you up. He wasn't really gonna make you feel good about yourself. You had to find it deep within. And so yeah, he prepared us business as usual.
Good.
Hey Matt, let me ask you, what's your feeling on college athletes being able to get paid? And do you see any problems lying ahead from boosters or parents, or whether it be from the college? And are you like me in saying that I think there should be some type of financial literacy classes that goes along with giving these guys that type of money to make sure that these guys don't get into early debt or anything like that?
I think they're 30 years too late, man. They should have 30 years ago. But I'm on the fence with it because I kind of see both sides of it, right? So it's interesting, that whole lawsuit and everything started with Ed O'Bannon. You know, back he played for UCLA. Is who we played in the first round.
Right.
It's kind of an interesting story there. But but when I think about it, on one side, it's like, you know, the college athletes, especially the ones that are on scholarship, they are getting paid. I mean, their school's getting paid for. That they get a lot of privilege. You get classes, you get meal plans, you get. I mean, they're definitely being taken care of. But on the same token, they're also bringing, especially the top athletes, they're bringing in eyes to the program, and so they're actually creating a lot more revenue. So I understand that aspect of it. On the other side of it, I'm like, man, is that going to dilute just the purity of the game at the
exactly.
college? Are these kids going to start, you know, just feeling that money? And we know, I mean, NCAA basketball, especially March Madness, there's nothing like the purity of the game. They're going hard. NBA, you feel like it gets watered down sometimes in the regular season. Guys taking off, they're not going as hard. Is that all the money? Is that protecting their body, their brand, their empire? You know, there's a lot into that. But I just think I see both sides of it. I don't really have an opinion. I get it, especially somebody who felt like they helped bring some revenue into a program. It would be nice to get a cut.
Exactly.
But hey, you did get a cut. Matter of fact, you got a full scholarship. So and when we were more low D1, so I get the argument on both sides. You know, time will tell us if it's a good idea or not, for sure.
100%.
Bro, you got another one before that?
Yeah, I got one more. So I know playing in those conferences, you know, it's a very rare occurrence where you'll play like an ACC team or, you know, play like a top 5 major school conference. But when you guys did, you know, occasionally play those teams, how did you feel, you know, going into did you guys always have that underdog, like, oh, we're not supposed to be here, we're not supposed to compete with you, but you go in there and, you know, you just have that supreme confidence. It's like, oh, let's shock the world. Like how you said, your coach said to you, let's shock the world against UCLA. Did you guys have that confidence going into every game against, you know, like a top 5 major school?
Top 5? Well, I don't know that we've played any top 5s other than UCLA.
I mean conference. Sorry, like a power conference. I apologize.
Yeah. No, I hear you. You know, we. I think at age 21, 20, 22, you believe you can beat anybody.
Right.
I mean, you just have this kind of unadulterated confidence that, like, we could do this. We could shock the world. And so there wasn't a lot of reality, probably. We believed we could. And we actually, you know, we beat Virginia Tech on their home court.
Right.
You know, Florida spanked us, actually. Florida State, you know, some of these, we beat UM on their home floor. You know, we got these Miami City champ bumper stickers made out. But, you know, we believe we could win. I mean, we did. We thought we were going to beat UCLA. I mean,
right.
I mean, a part of us really did. I mean, part of us thought, hey, man, we have nothing to lose.
Right.
It was a different story. We tied them at 11. But anyway.
All right. So my last question is, all right. So, with most of the top high school athletes now taking the G League approach, do you think that will hurt the growth of college basketball, or do you think that that's where paying college athletes now is sort of combats that, or it sort of balances that factor out for some of these athletes that's looking to get money early in their high school and their college years? Do you think it's going to have any type of backlash?
Yeah, you know, I don't think it's the greatest thing. I understand it. I understand it. I don't think it's the great. I mean, how many Kobe Bryants are there? I mean, how many straight out of high school are there? Now, this is something that we've never seen with them going to the G League and kind of getting that experience, getting that money. You got LaMelo Ball, okay, so that worked out for him. But how many has it not worked out for? You know, and you kind of look at the two numbers. But this is something a little bit newer. And again, time will have to tell on that one. But you see these, these guys that do go into school, get into these programs, stay there at least 2-3 years, and then they move on. There's just something about the character that's formed in these guys that is helpful. And back to what you were saying about when these kids are getting all this money so fast. The percentages aren't great if you don't have a support structure, if you don't have a financial advisor, if you don't have the humility to listen to the team around you, because it's that brain is not formed until they're 25 anyway.
Yep.
Put all that money in the pocket, So it's a tough one, but I don't think it's the greatest thing.
Yeah, I can agree. I got one question for you. Moving away from college, though, I gotta ask you this. It's a 2-part question.
All right.
In the NBA, what is a superstar? And after that, is Jeremy Lin a superstar?
Oh my gosh.
That's my question. That's my question.
All right. Superstar. I mean, superstar, you just have to be able to do it over a long period of time.
Yes.
You've proven. What's that time frame? I don't know. I mean, I like the 10-year mark. I mean, you're putting work in for 10 years and you're putting up double doubles or you're putting up numbers. Okay, let's have that conversation and let's debate it, with those guys. I'm not even going to answer the second question.
Thank you.
Thank you. That gives me my answer, Frank.
It's a misleading question. It's a misleading question.
It's not misleading. It's not misleading. You guys sat here and told me. You guys sat here and told me. Nah, you guys sat here and told me that because Jeremy Lin is famous internationally that he is an NBA superstar. All right, he didn't even answer the question. That's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said.
Absolutely not what we said.
That's exactly what GK said, bro. Exactly what GK said.
This is not what we said, man.
Right,
that was an hour debate. I'm so glad.
It was.
I'm so glad.
I had this plan since I asked you to come on the show. Since your wife hit me up, I had this plan. I was like, yo, I'm gonna ask you what a superstar is, and you're gonna tell me if Jeremy Lin's a superstar. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
But
we
you guys,
all said Jeremy Lin wasn't a superstar.
Hey, Jeremy
Lin. No, that's not true, Frank. GK said Jeremy Lin was a superstar, and you agree with him.
Yes, superstar.
Go ahead, Matt.
Remember, I got the tape. It wasn't a track year. I got the tape, and I can run it back. I can run it back.
Yeah, we gonna have to run that back.
When we get done with Matt, when we get Matt off, I'll screen share and show you the part where you both said that Jeremy Lin was a superstar.
All right, bet.
All right. What you said, Roy? What you asked?
I think Matt had something to say.
No, I heard Troy say something about he's famous versus superstar. Those are two different things.
Exactly.
Thank you, Frank. Frank. We're gonna talk after this. I'm gonna let you go. We got a special guest on. We got a special guest on. So I'm gonna let you slide right now. I'm gonna let you slide right now. But when Matt leaves this, look, you guys at home. When Matt leaves this group, Frank, I'm going straight to the video. But let's move on. All right, let's get into some NBA. Let's get into some NBA hot topics. I want to start with injuries. All right, the biggest injury to me, Kevin Durant just got injured, and he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. So I want you guys' opinion on that injury, and then talk about other injuries that you guys are, worried about for teams like Steph Curry being out day to day. We can start with Roy.
Yeah, I'd say mine was obviously the Kevin Durant injury. I mean, depending on, how quickly he comes back or how long he's out for, I think that really does matter because, I mean, Kevin Durant is the focal point of this Nets team. I mean, so much derives off of him. I mean, you can make the argument and say, okay, they have Kyrie, they have Harden, but I think I would definitely argue that Durant is that centerpiece. They need Durant to function. And so with him being out, I mean, I don't think they fall off dramatically. I think they might drop a couple seeds, out in the East, but I think they really need to get him back and hopefully make sure he's 100% before he comes back. So we don't have that problem that we had before with Kevin Durant, where he comes back and then he gets injured again. So make sure he is 100% healthy before he comes back.
Frank.
To be honest, if this was the playoffs, then I'll have a totally different feeling. I mean, it really depends on how much of Kyrie you get right now. I think Kyrie and James, they'll be able to man the ship right now. I mean, especially with the team clicking like how they are, with guys coming off the bench. I mean, they're clicking coaching wise as well. I mean, everything seems to be clicking for them. It's just bad timing with this injury. But yeah, like if you can get more of Kyrie, you get more play from Kyrie and more play from James Harden, then I think that'll be all right just until you get to the playoffs, or that'll be enough to hold it down until KD comes back. We all know KD is the engine, is the one that make that team go. But if this was the playoffs, then I'd be a little bit more worried. But it's still regular season. There's still a lot more time. There's still a lot more games to go. I'm not ready to hit any type of panic button or go into panic mode.
And Kyrie said that this does not spur him to go get the vaccination either. But Matt, what are your thoughts on the injury from KD? And is there any other injuries that stick out to you in the NBA?
You know, I got a problem with Brooklyn all because yes, that injury is big time. I agree with both of you. Kevin Durant's a superstar.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Agreed.
We can agree on that.
I got the video. It's already here. I got the video. It's right here. It's right here, ready to go.
All right, man.
Go ahead, Matt.
But the problem with Brooklyn is that we were all excited about Brooklyn from the very beginning when the big three came together. But man, they just aren't playing together. They're just not on the floor together. You know, I agree with Roy. You know, don't bring them back too early. I agree. There's plenty of time for them to gel. Kyrie's only going to play part-time. So I'm a little nervous that I just don't believe that they're going to be a top-tier team that's going to go deep in the East. There's no way they're going to get past the finals. They might get to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe, but there's no way they'll get past it. So I think that's a big-time injury, plenty of time to recover. But aside from that injury, I just don't think they have enough time to gel together.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just sometimes watching their games, you see that it looks like they're just a bunch of individuals on the court and not people that are playing together as a team. It just looks like you have, I mean, I hate to use the analogy, but like, you know, too many chefs in the kitchen type of deal where, you know, you have too many people who demand the ball, too many people who are just, I mean, they may not go out and say, oh, I'm focused on myself, but you just look at how they play and it's like, we're still trying to figure things out. I mean, I understand that happens to teams, you know, who bring in superstars. Look at Miami when they brought in LeBron, Bosh, and Wade together. It took them a while to figure it out. But I think this Nets team, you know, especially with how just different their situation is, especially with having people constantly injured, people not playing and stuff, how can you get that time together to gel? I don't know. I think it's going to be a hard one for them to figure it out.
Yeah, the Nets
I think still in all, there's no
glaring.
I'm not to cut you off, Lloyd, but there's really no glaring favorites in the East, especially right now. There's nobody that still scares me outside of maybe Chicago when they're on. And you just seen what happened when you get the best out of Chicago, you get the best out of Brooklyn, how that matchup is going to turn out. And I still think as long as you got two of those guys, you have enough to go head to head with a Chicago, even if they're at their strength. I mean,
let me ask a question.
The whole league is pretty much beat up at this time. There's a lot of injuries, so I don't see any other glaring favorites or glaring team that scares me enough in the Eastern Conference that make me want to have that, you know, that trepidation about the Nets.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys trust the Chicago Bulls more than you should trust the Milwaukee Bucks?
No, I'll say no, just because Milwaukee's more proven. You know, they've been there. Yeah. But I feel like everyone's been kind of like sleeping on Milwaukee a little bit. I mean, I know they haven't been performing up to their usual standards. They're not performing how they usually do, but I still haven't lost, you know, too much confidence in them to where I would put Chicago. I mean, Chicago has the prettier record. Okay, I understand. They're playing hot. You know, I think DeRozan's a potential MVP candidate, and he's been doing great with that. But I really think that just player for player, pound for pound, I would go with the Milwaukee Bucks because they're proven. They've done it before. We know that. Chicago, we can't say the same thing.
I would agree, man. Chicago's lost 4 straight, and they lost, you know, Zach LaVine, obviously. Didn't look great last night against my Grizz. And and I don't know, man. I mean, I definitely agree. I'm going with the Bucks on that head-to-head matchup. Especially in the playoffs.
Bulls have 7 players out right now.
Especially in the playoffs, exactly.
The Bulls have 7 players out right now, including Lonzo, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, and Derek Jones.
Yeah, the Bucks, they one of those teams that's just built for the playoffs. As long as they can get to the playoffs, man, they sort of rally around Giannis throughout the regular season, let him do him, let him go MVP mode, and then they kind of gel together as a team once the playoffs come. That's just sort of, I think that's become their nature as of now. So, yeah, I think they'll be okay. Once they get to the playoffs, then you'll start to see the best of the Bucks.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask Matt a question real quick because I'm glad he said about the Grizzlies. So I made a prediction. I had a very hot take where I said I think the Memphis Grizzlies are going to represent the West in the NBA Finals. And I know that might seem like a outlandish thing, but I'm telling you, if you watch this team play, wow, they blow me away. And I don't like any teams in the Western Conference. So I mean that says something. So what's your opinion currently on the Grizzlies and how they're performing?
Man, they're young. They got a chip on their shoulder, and they just don't care.
Yes.
And they're too young to care. Like they don't know any better. So they're going out there. John Morant's trying to dunk on anybody and everybody that gets in the way. I mean, he was ready to throw blows with a big 6'8", 260.
Bradley.
Yeah, man.
And Aquaman had to lift the dude up and
but
carry
that's
him.
what I was about to say. How tough is Bradley after a dude just walks up to him and picks him up? You ain't tough no more after that. You ain't tough after that.
But I mean, they all have a chip on their shoulder. All of them. I mean, Desmond Bain was overlooked. Dylan Brooks is out there, and he's obviously injured right now, and he's the defensive engine. Obviously, John Morant has been telling everybody he's the best point guard in the league before people are starting to say, hey, maybe he is. And, I mean, you just go down the line. These guys are tough. Even Tyre Williams, who played with Bronny last year, which is kind of crazy, is starting to step up. And then their bench, Brandon Clark coming in. They bring energy. You got that old man, Ryan Anderson, who moves in slow motion but is effective.
Yeah, it's like a couple of them.
This guy Conchar is one of the best three-point shooters on their team and has been stepping up. Now, obviously, they're young. Can they do it in the playoffs against the Phoenix? Can they do it against the Warriors, against the Jazz? That remains to be seen. But I'm rolling with them.
Good. Okay. I'm glad.
Memphis sits in third place right now. So I don't think it's far off to say that these guys are playoff bound. But in my opinion, like Matt just said, like Suns, Warriors, I don't know.
Teams that have been in those predictions. Yeah, teams that have been there.
When the game slows down and Ja Morant can't be fast-paced as he is in the regular season, that's going to affect the Grizzlies.
No. I don't agree with that. Because what do you mean? I mean, he was out, and they were 11-2 when he was out.
Yeah, but that's still fast-paced, though. But they still were playing fast-paced. Dylan Brooks is a fast-paced player, too. And what I'm saying
Jaren Jackson Jr.
When you take that team collectively, when you take the team collectively and you go into the playoffs and they all have to slow down to play the tempo of the playoffs, I think as a team it may affect them. I'm not saying it is, but it may.
I think that team is just young and gun. I think they don't care how you want to play.
If they come up against the Lakers, they win that. they win
that.
No,
those old men can't guard anyone.
I'm going to say that. You don't have to say that, Uncle Frank, Mr. Jeremy Lin is super.
Half of them in a retirement home. Come on.
I'm saying it.
All right. To my Lakers defense, the last two times that we've seen the Memphis Grizzlies is went down to the wire to the fourth quarter, and it's been without AD. So this is where I'm with you on. I'm heavy on the Grizzlies. I think they're one of the most exciting teams. They're what the Atlanta Hawks was to the NBA last year. That's what I think they are to the league this year. I just think that when it comes down to the playoffs, to a degree of what Troy said. When it comes down to those elite half-court teams, do they have the discipline? Are they disciplined enough on that end, on that aspect to really buckle down and play a half-court style of game against those teams who actually perfect it, like the Suns, like a healthy Lakers, like the Warriors? I don't know if they match up in that aspect. But if they come in and just want to crash the party and make the teams play ugly and play how they play, then they got a chance. Of course, they got a chance. But against those elite half-court teams, I'm not sure that this is the year.
That's what I was saying. I don't know if the Grizzlies could play in that slow down playoff tempo. I got to see it, But if the playoffs started right now, they would play the Nuggets, and I kind of think Grizzlies will beat the Nuggets in a 7-game series. That's just me. That's just me. No Kyler Murray. Jokic is the only one out there. So when you get into the playoffs, you can literally just focus on him and then force the other guys to have to play ball. And
Jamal Murray.
It could be ugly. It could be ugly for Denver, for the Nuggets this year, because they ain't playing too hot either. And you got an up and coming team like the Grizzlies. I do see them going far, but I don't know how far they go. But let's move on. Let's stay in hot topics. Stay in basketball. Let's talk about the Lakers. All right. So I got a report popped up this morning that Frank Vogel is day to day, meaning he can be out at any time. Today could be his last day. Tomorrow could be his last day. I got him out in 5 games. That's what I got. Frank Vogel will not be the Lakers coach in 5 games. So starting with you, Matt, what do you think about the Lakers and Frank Vogel situation?
I think they need to put Russell Westbrook day to day if they want to run.
I'm trying to tell you.
Change the coach if you want. Everybody knows LeBron's coaching that team, but that is not the move. I think that's going to switch it up. You got to get rid of Westbrook, or Lakers just aren't going to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, Matt, you're giving the same takes that I am. And I love you for that. It's so good to have people agree with you, but I'm going to take it a step further. Yes, Russ needs to go. That wasn't the fit. He never should have been brought in the first place. They should have brought in someone like a Buddy Hield, something that supports LeBron's play style, not someone who's ball dominant. This is not Frank Vogel's fault. This is not his fault. I don't know why he does not deserve to be punished for this, because like how you said, he's not even coaching this team. Let's be honest. Yeah, any team that LeBron is on, LeBron's the one who's coaching this team.
But there's still a coach to the team, right? And Frank Vogel has a job to do within LeBron's job. So I understand what you're saying. LeBron coaches the team, but who's making the substitutions? Who's putting the plays in the game? Who's making a lineup? That ain't LeBron.
Yes, you have these rotations. It doesn't matter if you're not set up for success. He's not being set up in a position to where he can use his coaching skills to help benefit this team.
I can agree.
He's not put in a good position. Let's be honest. No. So getting rid of the head coach isn't going to do anything. You bring in someone else. It's going to be the same song, different dance. Mm-hmm. I don't understand what that really accomplishes. Maybe it tries to save face, I guess, to make it, hey, look, we're doing something to fix this season, when in reality you're not.
That was actually Frank Vogel. His job being up in the air was actually my NBA hot take for today. Mm-hmm. I'm like 50-50 with it. I'm not going to go as far as to say that he deserves no blame at all, because he absolutely deserves some blame. Exactly. Yes. A lot of his lineups and the way he mismanages players, some of the lineups that he put on the court, that's just on coaching. I mean, you can't put that on LeBron. And Frank Vogel, he has one of the most, I'd say, a top 5 elite coaching staff the last 2-3 years since he's been up there. So I mean, he has the coaches around him. So that's why I'll say with LeBron years, especially I'll say starting from his second year to currently, I think LeBron has taken a back seat as far as letting the management, the front office, and letting the staff take control of the team. Because to be honest, I mean, if Bron had his way, Russell Westbrook will come off the bench. That's the move that I think needs to happen. I don't think that they're going to be able to get rid of Russell Westbrook. One, I don't think that they're going to get the pieces for him. Nobody around the league really wants him. He has a really, really low interest rate. And my best suggestion would be to start to bring Russ back off the bench. And then once everybody gets healthy, I mean, that's why I think Frank needs a little bit more time, because he hasn't had a chance to coach a completely 100% healthy Laker team. However, some of the lineups that he put out there is completely on his fault. And my thing is, if you get rid of Frankie V, I mean, is David Fisdale the answer? I mean, I know he has some history going back with Bron, going back to Miami, but with this aging Lakers team, with this team that we currently have constructed, I mean, is Fisdale going to be that deciding factor? I don't think he pushes the arrow either way. So for the most part, I think as long as the Lakers cannot go on these wild losing streaks, these 3-game, 5-game losing streaks, as long as the Lakers can avoid doing that throughout the season, I'm pretty sure that Frankie V will last. I think at least this year. I don't see what good comes out of letting him go right now, especially with David Fisdale as the backup option. I'm not completely sold on him. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen before Frankie V completely loses his job, but he definitely deserves to be on the hot seat.
I got a question.
Talk to me.
One, I think obviously he's got to be held accountable as the head coach. I mean, so everything you guys are saying is right on. He's got to be held accountable. But my question is, this guy is known for playing defense.
Yes. And
the Lakers are not a great defensive team. So the question is, has he lost the team? I mean, has he lost the team? And if that answer is yes, he's got to go.
I feel like the Lakers have defensive players.
See, I would play devil's advocate for that, and I'd say they gave away their defensive players and Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma and KCP. I mean, they gave away those defensive stars. Those are the people that are 3-and-D. They're 3-and-D. They play defense. They can shoot the three ball. They can do. They're pivotal role players for you. You get rid of that and you bring in an aged Westbrook. I mean, you're bringing in people that are I hate to say it, but they're too old. It's a retirement home. You cannot stay. They cannot. You watch the Lakers game. They cannot stay in front of anyone to save their lives. They don't get back on transition defense. There's times where you see LeBron is the only one going back on offense, and it's like it looks like a total dysfunction. And how he said Frank Vogel. He's a defensive-minded coach, so you would expect that to be translated on the court. It's plain and simple. It's not. And I just think that this is an aged core, a very aged core that gave away their defensive cornerstones. And now they're seeing the replications of that.
Can we just be real? Frankie V has struggled to maintain success throughout the league, coaching wise, outside of those couple early years in Indiana. He's struggled to maintain success everywhere that he's gone, whether it be Orlando, whether it's his short tenure in Memphis. I mean, he hasn't really proven to be that defensive guy that he showed those earlier years. So there's already some speculation about that. He might be losing his touch as far as being that defensive guru that he used to be. So he was already coming into that. But still in all, I mean, as much as I believe and I think he deserves to be held accountable, I'm still not ready to give up on him because I mean he showed that he can put some great lineups out there with his first 2 years. I mean, he showed that he can manage. He can help man the team, especially with guys going down to injury. He did it last year. For the most part, he's been doing it this year. I mean, it's really just the Russell Westbrook effect. I mean, yes. you can see when Russ turns the ball over. You can see how players' body language. You can see it just kills a lot of the energy and the momentum that the Lakers might have going on at the game, or just kills us building any momentum going forward throughout any of these games. So I mean, it's just the Russell Westbrook effect. I mean, if we can somehow get Russ to just stay on his feet, not jump in the air, have to throw these wild passes and that are not there. If we could just limit Russ.
I'm telling you.
That's why we have to put him on the bench. We need more options. We need another option.
Watch the body language of the team when Russell Westbrook commits a turnover. Watch the body language. Watch it to when someone, when anyone commits a turnover, okay, they turn around and get back on defense. Watch what happens when Russell Westbrook commits a turnover, and watch how different the body language is.
They turn
on the
around
defense.
And they just jog.
It's not even limited to turnovers. Watch him when he attempts a 3-pointer and he's wide open. Watch the body language. I'm telling you, it's insane. It's insane. It looks like this whole team is like.
Though. He used to be nasty from the mid-range.
Yes,
I don't know what happened to him.
Not taking anything away from him in the past.
He's lost his explosion.
Not taking away from him in the past, because in the past he was that dude. Let's be real.
He was nasty in the mid-range, bro.
But oh my goodness, I mean, when you go 0-for-16 in your past 5 games from 3-point range, who's going to respect your shot? Who on your team is going to want you taking that shot? I mean, you're just costing your team games. You are costing your team games with the amount of turnovers and your lack of scoring efficiency. I mean, but watch body language. I'm telling you, that's the next time you guys watch a Lakers game. Look at how they react when he commits.
The thing with Russell is, right? Russell needs a a shooter.
Roy,
that's
what
Russell needs. Russell needs a shooter. Russell needs the ball in his hand to where he can kick it to a shooter. Where on the Lakers,
who's that guy?
They ain't no shooters, bro. Malik, I know Monk went off a couple of games, but it's not consistent enough for what LeBron needs to get there. So that's why I'm saying I don't even see the Lakers getting out of the first round this year, no matter who they play. I don't care who they play. I don't think they're getting out the first round because they're a little too old. They don't have the personnel that LeBron needs to make it work because we know he can make it work. But it's just the personnel that matters. And I don't think they have that for him. I think you could have let go of Kuzma if you wanted to, but you keep Rondo, you keep KCP, you keep, Caruso. The guys that's playing, Caruso, Alex Caruso, the guys that's playing defense for you. You tried to replace them with shooters, and now your defense is suffering.
Like those guys are just outside of Caruso, KCP and Kyle Kuzma aren't just balling out of control.
No, we wasn't saying balling. We're talking about on the defense end of the ball. We're talking about on the defense. We're talking about on the defense. I'm saying,
but a lot of the stuff. Kyle Kuzma wasn't looked at as no shutdown defender.
No, he was not.
No, we're not saying
more offensive minded. He's more offensive minded. I'll give you that.
But that's why I said if you wanted to trade away. But that's why I said if you wanted to trade away Kuzma, you can. But when you're talking about a team success, you need guys in there that can at least play defense.
KCP as well. KCP wasn't the 3-point shooter. He wasn't the 3-point shooter that
they needed, right? And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that's why they eventually let him go because he wasn't
holding people down,
right?
When he wanted too much money for what he wanted.
When Roy said 3 and D,
he was giving us.
When Roy said 3 and D, KCP was more of D, not 3. So I can understand that. He wasn't holding his offensive.
Was a great pickup. He just hasn't been healthy.
Yeah, he's been injured.
He's starting to get healthy.
And he's also like 5 years away from collecting Social Security. Yeah. Okay.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
But he's
let's be real.
The last 3 years, he's still been a vital piece on every bench that he's played on.
Yeah.
So you got to give him that. That's really all we need. We need him to come in there and bother guys, be able to bother guys like Kate.
Be a nuisance. Be a nuisance.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the MVP race. I want to know
who
each
knows,
one of you guys. Take your time. Tell me who you got as the MVP right now if the season ended. Who's your MVP and why? Starting with Frank.
What sport?
Basketball. We're still in hot topics. NBA. So just so you know, so you guys know, the MVP ladder right now is Giannis, Jokic, KD, and Joel, and then DeMar DeRozan is number 5. Those are the top 5.
I would say if you would have talked to me a month ago, I would have said DeMar DeRozan. But I mean, as
we say KD right now.
No, he was not
KD right now.
But
DeMar DeRozan is not playing better than KD, Giannis, and
no, I agree.
Whoa.
No, I don't think he's playing.
He's playing better than them, Frank.
I mean, the fact that you just snubbed your nose at what DeMar DeRozan is.
No, I'm not snubbing my nose. That's how you're taking it. That's how you're taking it.
No,
that's how you're taking it. I'm saying he said a month ago he would have had the role. He said a month ago he would have gave DeMar the MVP. What I'm saying is you're giving him the MVP over Giannis, Jokic, and KD. Is he playing better than them guys? That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm not snubbing my nose. No, he is?
He's playing just, I mean, if he's not playing better, he's playing just as good.
So why is he 5th behind KD, Giannis,
because we're a month after that.
Because we're a month after
name.
I mean,
he was 3rd though. In that month, okay, so to be fair, in the month that Roy is talking about, but in the month, no, the Bulls are number 1 in the league.
I said a lot of those teams.
There's only 2 teams that have a better record than the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. And that's two of the teams in the West.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not discrediting him. I wouldn't even be mad if DeMar did win the MVP because he's playing out of his mind. I'm not discrediting him, but what I'm saying is if you go back, no, that's how you're taking it. But if you go back into a month ago to say DeMar DeRozan will win MVP, he was 3rd in MVP in the MVP race a month ago.
Yes.
3rd, so he still would have lost if it ended. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Roy.
But I would say that I think he was 3rd because people were just waiting to see how serious it actually was. Was this just him being hot?
If they keep it up, I say give him MVP. If the Bulls finish 1st in the East, I say DeMar wins MVP. If he's the star player on that team.
Yeah, if everything continues on how it should be,
because
I think he should
get
it.
Comes back and starts taking over, then it becomes okay. What do you do here? But if DeMar DeRozan can keep it up, I'm not snubbing my nose at him, Frank. I'm just saying I would take other guys in front of DeMar DeRozan. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think an argument can be made for Jokic again. I mean, just because it's Jokic. That's all. That's all you need to say is that it's Jokic, man, and he does what he does on a daily basis, in and out. I mean, you can't knock that man's hustle. You cannot knock that man's grind. I think it's probably going to end up being Jokic, but I'll hope for DeRozan.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to say KD while I'm arguing for KD so hard, but even still, I mean that we can go all day with the DeMar DeRozan debate because I think you're throwing some slight on my boy DeMar.
Listen, you guys at home heard me say it 3 times. I'm not, and I explained why. Frank, if you want to take it that way, it's fine.
I think Steph is the MVP. Steph Curry. If I had to give somebody league MVP right now, just
I understand
everything Steph has been doing and how he's been manning that ship over there. I don't think none of us saw Golden State being a number 1 seed or a number 2 seed in the Western Conference right now, especially with Klay not being there with those early parts of the year. And just how he's been able to bring that team along, and Jordan Poole, how he has everybody out there gelling. I just think that Steph and Steve Kerr definitely deserve some credit and recognition.
Man, who you got? Who's in front?
Well, it's going to be John Morant at the end of the day, but right now, Jokic has been the most consistent. I can't say Curry, although I love Curry, but he's in a slump right now. But everything you said, Frank, is right. He has been manning that ship. He's been doing. I mean, he's Curry, right? And I think he's probably top 4 or 5 right now in that race. But Jokic has been consistent.
No, Curry's not in the race. Top 5 is. Hold on, I'll get it again for you. Go ahead, just finish what you were saying, Matt, and I'll find it again.
And then obviously Giannis is going to be in that mix, and then Durant out 4 to 6. But just don't sleep on my man John Morant.
I agree.
He's young enough to not care, and I'm telling you, I mean, you saw that run when he was putting Phoenix. You know, I mean, if his 3-point shot. Obviously, he's taking a dip on that, and I mean his floater, his pull up, his change of speed, his court vision. I mean, the dude is unreal. Yes. But he can get that 3-point shot more consistent. I'm going with Morant.
All right, so here's the top 10. Here's the top 10 in the ladder race right now. Giannis is 1, Jokic is 2, Kevin Durant is 3, Embiid is 4. DeMar DeRozan is 5, Steph Curry is 6, John Morant is 7, Chris Paul is 8, LeBron James is 9, and Rudy Gobert is 10.
And that's on what site?
And then after that, you got Devin Booker, Luka, James Harden.
Who's that
Levine,
according to? Who is that?
This is the NBA, like the NBA.
Oh.
NBA.com.
Oh, okay.
What I would say about Memphis Grizzlies is their front office deserves all the credit and applause for how they built a team and a true contender over there.
Oh, yeah.
Just looking at everything that's going wrong in New Orleans, all you can do is just send a big congrats to that front office out there.
Oh,
Memphis.
yeah, because Memphis has.
They're doing everything the right way with the right players.
Yes.
They're showing you how to build a team, a small market team from scratch, man. And it's absolutely amazing to watch, man.
Yeah, because Memphis hasn't been relevant. Hasn't been relevant since the grit and grind, since they had Rudy Gay and Mike Conley and all them together.
Bruce brothers.
Marc Gasol. Yeah, and then Zach Randolph. I think this is the first time they've been relevant since then. And they're coming in pretty convincingly. And to turn ship and rebuild for a small market team like that says a lot about our front office. It really does.
That's why they're so scary, because they built that just like the Bucks, man. They built that,
and they're still young
in a small market, man. And they still all young, man.
Yeah,
there's still so much.
That's scary.
There's so much potential left, man. They're gonna be scary for the future years to come.
48 last night, so don't sleep on him.
Listen, when you guys talk about D-Book, the only thing that comes to mind is 70. That's what comes to mind. If you don't know Matt, you can just take a look at the picture behind me. You see number 33 there. All right, you're gonna drop 70 on us. So when you talk about D-Book, I know that kid for real. I know he's for real. I like what he said though recently, and then we got to move on. I like what he said about the comparisons to him being Kobe. So I like that he shut them down like LeBron didn't do in his earlier years. Like, shut that conversation. Yo, I'm me. I want somebody to come along and be like, yo, you play like Devin Booker. I don't want somebody to come along and be like, yo, I play like this guy. No, I want to be my own person. So I like his response there. Closing out NBA hot topics. Any of you guys got anything left before we move on?
That's all I got.
Good, Frank?
Yeah, I'm good for
all right, then you guys know what time it is. I mean, Matt, you new to this, but you'll see your screen changing a little bit. It's the Who You Got segment, college edition. All right. So basically, just like I said in the beginning, Matt, I'm gonna tell you guys, and you'll get it. You'll pick it up from Roy and Frank. I'm gonna give you 2 names. You just tell me who you prefer out the names. All right. And then we go from there. So we're gonna start it right off. Let me write these names down. Frank, Matt, and Roy. I always keep track of who's on that, who you got. All right, first one. We got Michigan in 2000 or Maryland in 2002. Who you got?
Give me the Terps. I want Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah.
Who you got, Matt?
You said Michigan?
Yeah, you mean Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State in 2000 and then Maryland in 2002.
Terps.
No, I'll go with Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm going Michigan State.
We got our first split. We got our first split. You guys know I like split.
That team was nutty.
Roy, you said Maryland, right?
Yeah, shout out to Scott Van.
All right. The next one is
Terps.
So this is the most outstanding players from the game, from the national championship game. So we got 2 people here. We got Joakim Noah and Carmelo Anthony.
Oh,
Melo.
Give me Melo. Come on.
Melo. Yeah.
Y'all all going Melo? Damn.
Yes.
I thought somebody was gonna take Noah there. He was a beast.
Nah, Joakim was exciting. He was full of emotion.
You see this shirt? I'm never choosing someone from Florida. That's not happening. That's not happening.
Florida State.
All right, next one. We got Duke in 2001 or UConn in 2004.
Oh,
Duke.
Part of me wants
That's
to
the Omeka Okafor UConn, right? 04.
Yeah. He's right behind the guy that's holding the trophy.
That UConn team is when also the women's team won at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe so. No, because UConn won again though. This is in 2004.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah, I'll go Duke.
They won again.
Duke.
I did one
Duke.
that first time winning. So
you're right. Duke.
2 Dukes. Duke. Matt, what you got?
I got Duke.
And Frank, you said Duke too, right?
Yeah, man.
All right, you got 2 unanimous decisions. All right, next one. We got Mario Chalmers.
I think I was Jay Will, dude.
We got Mario Chalmers and
Shabazz Napier. Give me Shabazz Napier every day. Every day. That man at UConn, come on.
What?
He was cardiac Kemba before cardiac Kemba.
You're only taking the college too. You're not taking no NBA.
Yes.
You're only going off of college.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going Mario ice cold hit the game winner in the college championship.
So did Shabazz. Shabazz did the same thing.
Chalmers hit that game winner and knocked Steph out, right? Didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did.
But Napier is nasty. So
yes.
He reminds me of this guy, Randolph Childress, back in the day. If you guys remember him, if you don't look him up in the ACC tournament, that guy was killing. But I like Napier. He didn't make it in pros too much, but
he didn't.
But he was like that in college.
We got a split. All right, next one.
Because he was hungry.
We got Syracuse in 2003 and UNC in 2005. Who you got?
Roll heels, baby. Give me UNC.
I ain't never going against my heels.
Matt?
Roll heels.
Yeah, I'm Chapel Hill.
For UNC, everybody?
Yeah.
All right. Next one, we got Corey Brewer in 2007 or Kemba Walker in 2011.
Cardiac.
Kemba.
Give me cardiac.
Kemba.
Corey Brewer was like that though. Do not sleep on Corey Brewer. He was indeed like that.
He was dunking on everything.
He was playing defense too.
Yes.
He was locking people down, which I like. Man, Kemba Walker was tough.
That Florida team in general was ferocious.
That Florida team was amazing. I hate to say that, but they were.
I'm going with Brewer.
I'm going with Brewer, and then Frank and Roy, you guys went with Kemba?
Yep, cardiac.
All right, Frank, and then Matt went with Corey Brewer.
He got a crossover game winner at the Garden.
All right, next one. One of these are my teams. All right, one of these are my teams. All right, we got the next one. We got Kentucky in 2012 or Villanova in 2016.
Oh my gosh.
Who you got?
Nova.
That Villanova UNC game. God.
Oh my God.
I go Villanova. I'll go Villanova, but
Yeah,
it hurts to think
respectfully,
about
I'm
that
going
too, man.
Villanova. I'll go.
All right, yes. My team gets unanimous. You better all have picked Villanova.
Oh man.
Next one we got, which isn't
I
fair,
felt that
but
shit in my gut just thinking about it.
it isn't fair, but I had to do something. We got Anthony Davis in 2012 or Dante
DiVincenzo.
2018.
Nah, give me the brow. Give me the brow. But Dante was good too, man.
AD was a defensive, he was defensive, just guru in college. I mean, he was blocking everything. So I'm going AD.
Yeah, I agree.
AB. All right, unanimous. All right. Virginia in 2019 or Baylor in 2021?
You can't look. I'm not here to convince anyone.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
he about to explain.
I'm not here to convince anyone, but,
he said, I'm about to explain.
UVA, after bouncing back from getting bounced from a 16th seed, that's ESPN 30 for 30 worthy. I don't care what anyone says. They 100% deserve that. UVA.
I'll fuck with UVA.
All the way.
Yeah.
So Virginia, Matt, who you got?
I go on with those Baylor guards.
I didn't convince him enough.
Off night.
Yeah. That Baylor team was good, though. That Baylor team was very good. Kyle Guy on that UVA team.
Williams,
man.
You guys went Virginia.
UVA.
Yeah, UVA.
All right, last one. We out of here quick this time. We got Wayne Ellington or Titus Jones. Wayne Ellington 2009, Titus Jones 2015.
I ain't never picking a Duke player. I mean, over a North Carolina player. I'm going Wayne too.
I got Tyus Jones today. Last year.
Oh, no.
All the way back to Duke. Tyus Jones, best backup point guard in the league right now.
Oh, no.
All right. See, Matt, it's just that simple. Who you got is over with. We got to do it quick, and I like that.
He's on the Grizzlies.
He said, hey, I would have went Titus Jones too.
He's tough.
All right, let's get on to that. Good. Let's get on to the last segment of today. We got to talk about these football games, all right? We got to talk about these football games. So starting with the last night's game, Rams versus Arizona. Let's start there because I was a lot disappointed in Kyler Murray. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We was on live last night. Me and Dre Day. Shout out Dre Day. Roy, thank you for stopping by. GK stopped by too. Thank you, GK, for stopping by. Frank, you was at work, so I know you couldn't have. But one thing I said last night when I was watching Kyler Murray play is he's throwing the ball like Eli. If you watch his 2 interceptions, bro, it was Eli-esque. It literally was. And I'm an Eli fan. Look at Eli. He's right there. He's literally bro, the interception in the end zone, you just don't do that. Take the sack.
No excuses.
Take the sack. I don't understand it. That threw me through a loop while he tried to do that. And then you didn't even throw it anywhere where a receiver could get it. And then the second interception tipped pass, but he rushed that pass too. He was just rushing passes. And I was looking at it Eli used to do this. This is what Eli did. He rushed passes, didn't take his time. One thing I seen from Jimmy Garoppolo was he was poised in that field. He was poised there. Kyler Murray didn't seem like he was comfortable at all to me. All. So go ahead, Roy. You started.
And you know what? I'm so glad you started.
You can't really
blame
him for that.
But look, here's the thing. Everyone, I've heard people say,
I've heard people 100%.
Go ahead, Roy. Let me hear you.
I've been hearing that people say that the Rams defense was overrated. Okay, where are they at now? Because that Rams defense was the one who put that pressure on him to make those uncomfortable throws, to make those bad plays. I mean, when you don't have time to set your feet and you got Aaron Donald chasing you from behind, I'd probably make a bad pass too.
That's understandable, but you can't put it all. You cannot put it all on the defense putting pressure on him because if it was anybody else, any other, yes, it does, and I'm not saying it doesn't. But what I'm saying is him trying to be a superstar quarterback. He's supposed to thrive under pressure. He did not do that. Yes, I will give credit to the Rams defense. They put pressure on him all game. I will understand that. I was watching that. I understand that. But what I'm saying
is, you want him to thrive, but you want him to thrive.
What you're saying is the defense threw them 2 interceptions. Yes, he has to. If he wants to be elite, if he wants to be an elite quarterback, bro. I ain't really gonna say the end zone one. If he wants to be an elite quarterback, yes, he has to find a way under pressure, bro. That's not come on. Every quarterback does it. Every
that's
quarterback,
crazy.
every elite quarterback does any elite quarterback not do that?
Was you really watching the game?
Yes, I watched it. I was on Instagram Live. Go back and watch me talk about the game while I'm watching it.
So was his receivers creating all of this?
No, that's what I was saying. I'm not.
So what do you want him to do?
You're figure it out. That's what he's there for.
You want him to do everything, so he gotta try to.
If Tom Brady was in this position, I would say the same about Tom Brady. Figure it out.
You're not holding nobody else accountable for what went wrong. You're just putting it all at the feet of Kyler Murray.
That is not fair. When Aaron Rodgers was going through his struggles with Green Bay, everybody was blaming Aaron Rodgers. Nobody was blaming his wide receivers not getting space. Nobody was blaming his wide receivers couldn't get past man to man. Everybody was looking at Aaron Rodgers like he has to figure it out. No, what I'm talking about is on the end of the quarterback. If Kyler Murray is going to be a superstar, he has to figure something out. He was running too early. That's on him. He was throwing too early. That's on him. He's an escape artist.
He's got the pressure.
But he's an escape artist, bro. He's not a pocket. He's not a pocket passer, bro.
Into you before you get a chance to set him.
Yes, and I can agree there. But is Kyler Murray a good quarterback on the run? Yes, he is.
And he just came back off injury.
Right.
So you want him to. So he's already risking himself running, trying to create something.
But
what do you want him to do?
Hold on, before you go, Roy, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say.
To force a pass to a receiver who's not creating separation?
All right, last question, and then we can kick it back to you guys. Frank, what do you blame on Kyler Murray in that game yesterday? Nothing?
No, I'm not saying that. There was times where his decision making
and that's all
could have been a lot better.
That's all I'm speaking to.
No, but you're making that the sole reason why everything.
No, I'm focused on Kyler Murray. I'm not saying why we're wrong. I'm just saying he got to step up more.
No,
I said in those positions, Kyler has to step up more. That's what I said.
A couple other people take some blame for Kyler
and I can agree there.
That's what I'm saying.
I can agree.
There's a lot more people that get blamed, but you didn't say nothing.
No, because I didn't speak. I didn't get to that part. I was just on Kyler Murray.
No, but that's what you started off with. You don't
start
off with Kyler Murray and then go to everybody else that went bad.
No, that's my biggest takeaway. Kyler Murray rushing passes. Why can't I start with Kyler Murray?
Because you start with the line. It starts with the line. It starts up front.
No, it starts with Kyler Murray making
another
good passes.
person that deserves some blame. I think it might be Cliff Kingsbury. The head coach for the
that's true.
For the Cardinals. I mean, he runs. I mean, we know this back when he was at Texas A&M or Texas Tech. Sorry, and he does the air raid offense. That's what he does, the air raid offense. And I think the Rams really came out there. They knew the game plan of the Cardinals, and that showed. I think it really did that. This Rams defense is legit. They're real. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, if you can, and Kyler, to be fair, ever since he hurt, his mobility hasn't been. He's not 100%. Let's be fair,
man.
He's not 100%.
But Frank, hold on, one more thing. Did I give Baker Mayfield that pass? Answer me yes or no. Did I give Baker Mayfield a pass? No, I didn't. Right. So why would I give Kyler Murray the pass? I didn't. You were on the episode.
You didn't even give a chance to answer. I don't even know. What
you said you don't know.
It depends.
You literally said you don't know, and I said I did. I didn't give when GK was on the episode, and GK was talking about how Baker Mayfield had a bum arm. What was my comeback? Well, JPP is out there playing with missing fingers. That was my comeback, right? So why would I then do that to Baker and not do the same to Kyler? I'm doing the same to Kyler. I'm staying consistent whether you like it or not.
That's what I'm saying. You're trying to make that the same. It's totally different.
No,
I'm
doing the same thing to every quarterback. That's what I'm saying.
Are self-inflicted mistakes. That's Baker problem. That's not the same case for Kyler Murray.
You can blame it on coaching.
Kyler Murray doesn't have his top receiver.
You can blame a lot of things.
The receivers that he has can't create separation. The line that he has, they can't hold up against a four-man rush. And your quarterback is playing hurt, and you don't have a rush attack. So what do you want him to do?
You want him to
go out there and still beat Tom Brady?
Figure it out.
You gotta know football.
All right, so this Rams and Cards game.
I know football. He gotta know football. Go ahead,
you can't with that take.
Go ahead,
this Rams and Cards game. I mean, I think it was a full-on throttle beating by the Rams. I mean, Matt Stafford really came out. This is Matt Stafford's first playoff win. Mm-hmm. I think very well deserved on his end. Yeah, very well deserved. Way to change the narrative about you.
But does he need more? Is the question. Does he need more to actually be looked at as a
with the team that he's currently on? 100%. 100%. If this was some random Joe Schmo team, then okay. But shout out to him for getting his first playoff win. Good win, hard fought win. Really clicking on all cylinders, and that's what you like to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, Frank, you got something to say? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the manner that they won also is, I think it's a big way. It's a big deal, and I think that's something that can carry into next week, into them traveling over to Tampa, and they take that momentum, they take that attitude, they take that energy over to Tampa Bay. and especially with this Tampa Bay team with the limited pieces on offense, I think they can make it a tough and ugly game. I expect it to be a hard-fought one. I'm actually hoping that Matt Stafford take that next step and actually get his team to the NFC Championship game. I'm banking on it. I'm not 100% sold on it, but that's where my arrow is leaning towards now. But yeah,
well, you guys know I got the Bucks losing in the next round, so I got the Bucks losing. Matt, what you think about that Arizona Rams game?
Well, I didn't watch it, but I can tell you what the stats are telling me. 18 runs for 61 yards. 34 pass attempts for 137 yards, which is less than 7 yards a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at that, it looks like the Rams defense is the.
They did work. I didn't get to that part, and that's on me.
Thank you.
I didn't get to that part, but I like to.
I know you put all.
Listen, if you look at, I didn't put all the blame on Merlin, but if you look at my resume, look, Frank, you could do you because we do us. You feel me? All in love. But if you look at my resume, I always start with the quarterback first. Always. If you look at anything I've ever said on this podcast about any football team, I always start with the quarterback, and then I move down. Right. No, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that's where I start, and I'm just staying consistent in what I do. I'm always looking at the guy who's the leader. Most of the time, the leader on the team is the quarterback. So he has to go, him and the coach has to figure it out. That's who I'm blaming it on. If you want to know who I'm blaming the game on, I'm blaming it on the coach for not putting his team, knowing that defense was going to come out and play like that. You got to come out with a game plan that counteracts it, and the Cardinals didn't. They didn't. But I don't think Kyler Murray played as well. And I was the first one on this podcast to say that Kyler Murray was really hurt. So I can understand that. I said that. I said Kyler Murray was hurt. I didn't think that it was just him done resting him. But I'm saying if you're going to play in a game this big, no, nobody gets a pass with me. Not even Eli. I don't give Eli a pass. I don't give nobody a pass
for nothing. What would you
then nobody does. Nobody does.
Does
Rivers get a pass for having a good team and never making a damn Super Bowl? No, he don't. Nobody gets a pass. Nobody gets a pass with me when it comes to quarterbacks. That's just me. You don't have to like it. You don't have to think I'm right. Sometimes I can be wrong, but I have to stay consistent in the things I attack.
And you absolutely give Eli a pass when it comes to Hall of Fame shit.
Yeah, I said second. I didn't say he gets it first.
This is another topic. Next game.
I did not say if I was going to give Eli a pass, I would say he's first ballot Hall of Famer.
Choose when you want to give him a pass.
Go on. Listen, and this is what I love.
We'll be here forever. Next game.
I got you. I'm moving on. But Frank, that's BS because first of all, I told you Eli. If I was giving Eli a pass. If I was giving Eli a pass, I would have told you Eli was in first ballot. But what did I tell you? Second, third. That's what I say Eli gets in. And if you want to know my true take on Eli, you guys can go check out the Instagram live because we talked about Eli last night. All right. I don't give nobody a pass, not even Eli, but Eli is a Hall of Famer. You're not taking that away from him. But let's move on. Let's move on, Frank. Kansas City and Pittsburgh. All right. Roy, we got to start with you,
man.
What was it like seeing Ben for the last time?
Roy.
Man, I was crying like a little baby.
I know you did cry. I told you.
But man, if that game does not show why he needs to retire, then I don't know what does, man.
He should have retired last year.
He should have.
Can we understand that?
Yeah,
can we be honest?
I agree.
Ben should have never played this season. He should have never played it. He's not a quarterback, bro. He's done.
Our offense. If the Steelers had somewhat of an offense, I'm saying just an average offense, they would have been just.
But can we all agree? Can we all agree that we know the reason why they brought Ben back?
Because it's loyalty to the organization. That's how the Rooneys always
that
operate.
And something else. You guys don't have a quarterback you trust.
Oh no, we got Mason Rudolph back there.
Rudolph, you guys don't trust him. So what I said last night in the Instagram live that the best thing for the Steelers would be is to go out and see what 49 is going to do with Jimmy. See if you can make a trade for Deshaun. See what Russell's going to do. You got to go out there and get one of these quarterbacks.
They're going to.
Steelers got
you. I think they're going to go. The Steelers are going to go look out and see who they can find. They're going to try to find a veteran, maybe try to draft someone. They're looking at Kenny Pickett from Pitt.
You better talk Andrew Luck coming out of retirement.
They need someone because Mason Rudolph is not it. That's what I'm saying. Is like, how much can you draft for quarterback when your offensive line struggles as much as they do?
Exactly. That's what Russell Wilson's gonna be looking at.
But going back to the game, the game was. I mean, TJ Watt had a scoop and score to start the game. Oh my gosh, I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. Then after that
was the first touchdown. I'm like,
dead silence. Dead silence the rest of the game because
it's three and out, fumble, scoop.
They punted. When you have almost 8 3-and-outs as an offense, something's not right.
Yeah, man.
Something's not right. And you know that Kansas City, shout out to Patrick Mahomes, man. I mean, he always goes off against the Steelers. I mean, and he really showed that, hey, the Chiefs, we're back. I don't care what you saw during the regular season. We're here to play. And, you know, they were. That was it. That was it. But good. I mean, good luck for the Chiefs. I wish them nothing but the best. But Steelers, we weren't even supposed to be there in the first place. We started the season 1-3, had a 3% chance to make the playoffs, and we did with Ben.
It's the Jacksonville.
So it was good. Jacksonville. Shout out Jacksonville for being the Colts. Thank you.
Matt, what's your take?
Man, I'm a diehard Steeler fan.
We got another one.
I love you, Matt. I love
Matt.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Matt.
We got another one.
Listen,
okay.
I lived in Jersey during high school, middle school, and then before that, I lived in Texas. And I was raised to love the Steelers and hate anybody who plays the Cowboys. Those are my 2 favorite teams.
Round of applause.
But but for the past 3 years, it's been painful to watch Pittsburgh play.
Yes.
And I've decided to emotionally not invest in them and realize that my heart's going to get broken. Although I'll always be a fan.
Yeah.
But I knew they weren't going to beat the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knew.
I mean, their offensive line is terrible. They've got some weapons that can catch. But Deontay Johnson's like all of a sudden started missing.
Yeah.
He looked like himself back in 2018 when he was dropping everything.
And Najee Harris, that poor guy, man, he's taking a beating.
No help.
He plays so hard, man.
And Big Ben, man, he just looks exactly what he is.
Bones.
Big and old and slow.
You know, remember the song by Eminem? I got the bones in my closet. What's that? Cleaning out my closet.
Mm-hmm.
Ben was in that closet. The bones. He had the set. You got to get him out of there.
Painful. It was painful.
It is, bro.
But
I get it. Like you have the will. You have that will to want to keep playing. But it's like, yo, you gotta know when your body can't do it no more. Like you got to know. You know, right? And I'm gonna kick it to. With that said, I'm kicking it to you, Frank. What was your thoughts on that? Steelers.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think I had the Chiefs winning. I mean, I wanted it to be an ugly. I told you. I mean, they made it an ugly first quarter for the most part. But
I was seeing that.
I told you they could get like, they could get like 3 ugly quarters. They could have got 3 ugly quarters out of them, man. It might have changed something. But
Kansas City zipped that thing up.
Even with this win, I'm not sold on Kansas City. Do not just take this win and overreact that they blow out teams like this. They blew out the Steelers last time, and then they came back and lost the next week. So I mean, I'm not putting too much faith and too much stock into how they played. They kind of had the number of the Steelers secondary as far as how they played them this year. They demolished them.
Yeah, who doesn't? Let's be honest.
But just, I mean, they made them look like college athletes on certain plays. I mean, it's just like you could just tell it's just blown coverage.
We looked
total undisciplined.
Lost.
Lost, like confused.
Lost. Like we need a map because we look lost.
Yeah.
The Chiefs aren't beating the Bills.
I don't think they are either. I don't think they are either.
That's going to be a tough matchup, bro. It's going to be tough because, like, on one hand, you got 2 high-power offense and then 1 good defense. But the other defense is playing well in Kansas City defense. But we kind of know who they are. Like, we really know who they are. And it's like, for me, it's next week the week they show their true colors again. It's next week that defense just start giving everything up to Josh Allen. Like, and I'm not sold on the Bills. Like, as much as you guys are not sold on Kansas City, I'm not sold on the Bills. All right. I'm not sold on Josh Allen and them guys either. So even if they beat Kansas City, I think they lose in the next round, you know. But I think Kansas City got a good chance, but I don't know. But let's get to this San Francisco.
Who they gonna lose to, Troy?
Who gonna lose to?
Titans?
Wait, which one? Kansas City or the Bills?
I'm just saying the Bills and the Chiefs. Who are they gonna lose to?
Who do they lose to? Yeah.
So you asking that in a way like if either of them teams, whoever wins this game is poised for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. Right, tighten up.
I agree.
Right, tighten up.
What'd you say?
He's a Titans fan. Oh man.
Oh, Matt asked a question. Matt is saying whoever wins the Kansas City and Bills game is in the Super Bowl.
I agree with that.
No, I thought he was asking you who
see,
they gonna play.
Well, wait a
got you.
I was asking Troy because Troy said that they're not gonna go. If
I think
the Chiefs, they're not gonna go.
I got the Tennessee Titans putting in some work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I do think they get there. I do think they put some work in. I just don't know. Because I think I trust Tannehill.
That's what we want to hear.
I trust Tannehill a little bit more in his system than I trust Josh Allen in his. Because Josh Allen, for a long time during his regular season, carried their run game. And you can't do that in the playoffs.
Agree.
They're going to hone in on that. So if you could take that run game away from them and force Allen to throw and just play zone, game, for me, that's game right there. If they can execute. I'm not saying it's written in the books, it's written in stone, it's in Braille. But I think the Tennessee Titans do have a good chance. I think if Kansas City go against the Titans, I would take Kansas City. But if the Titans go against the Bills, I'm taking the Titans.
I don't know why you would take Kansas City over the Titans.
Ryan Tannehill has
27-3.
21 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last 3 games, he's got seven touchdowns, no interceptions. So that means he had 14 touchdowns and 14 interceptions 3 games ago. It's Ryan Tannehill, the dude that came from Miami.
Yeah, but he's looked so much better. And I always say this: system. It's all about system. I don't think Ryan Tannehill fit in that Miami system, but he fits in this Tennessee system so well. You can't.
Because they don't use him. Because they don't use him.
They use him.
Oh, what, to hand the ball off? Yeah, pretty good job using them.
Hey, look, and a lot of his picks, I mean, just don't forget, we didn't have AJ for a big portion of the year. We haven't had Julio. I mean, we've been missing our tight ends. Our offensive line has been in and out. Agreed. So Tannehill had to deal with a lot this year.
I agree.
And he still managed. I mean, he still has like
how many players was it, Frank?
As well.
How many players you guys had this year? Record?
91. A record.
Yeah, 91. Most of all time. Yeah.
So I do
he had to deal with a lot.
I don't know. I'm not saying the Bills can't get there, but I just don't trust them, bro. It's like the Raiders. Like, I didn't trust the Raiders either. Like, I knew Kansas City would win that. Cincinnati would win that game. Like, it's like the same thing for me. Like, the Bills are too inconsistent. Like, I see the game probably being like the New England game, 47-17. But let's move on to the Tampa Bay and Philly game, Eagles game, man. What's your takeaway away from that one, Frank?
I told you guys it was going to get ugly. And I expected an ugly game. Everything is clicking for the Bucks. I think that the Bucks stops next week. With the Rams. Still in all, man. Shout out to Tom and everything that he's been able to do this year. I still got him as my MVP candidate. Whether they win or lose next week, I don't think that's going to change anything. But I mean, I also think Aaron Rodgers is going home next week too. So.
We know how you feel about Aaron Rodgers. You like the history of Green Bay.
Look,
we know how you feel.
We already know that.
For Matt that don't feel, he looks at the history of Green Bay under Aaron Rodgers, always finishing like 13-1 or whatever they record be, and then they lose in the playoffs.
I just don't ignore history. I mean, I've seen the story from Aaron Rodgers before. I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay game. I mean, I don't think anyone was surprised. It reminds me so much of the Steelers and Chiefs game. Like we knew who was going to win that game. Eagles probably shouldn't even have been there in the first place. I mean, Tampa Bay they just went in and handled business and did it pretty convincingly.
Yeah, the Bucks, man. I'm telling you, he's got 2 Hall of Famers he's still throwing it to, even though Godwin's out and AB's gone. You got Gronk and you got Michael Evans, and I can't see the Bucks losing to the Rams, right?
Ooh. I think it's gonna be a good game.
It's going to be. It better be. Because we've seen so many blowouts this week. I want to see some real damn football.
Yeah.
But talking about some real football, I did this on
big
purpose.
Legacy game next week.
I did this on purpose. So I skipped the San Francisco and Dallas game, and now we're going to talk about it now. Right? What do you guys take away from this game?
We them boys.
I heard
yeah,
boys. Dre said something that's key last night. It's like Jimmy Garoppolo towards the end of that game started shooting San Francisco in the foot. Or I don't know if I could, sorry, Frank, I don't want to just blame the quarterback. I just don't want to put it all on Jimmy. It was the offensive line, the defensive line, the whole team.
At least you started. Okay, here we go.
I told you I'm consistent. Jimmy made some mistakes last night, and I said this. I said it's going to be key to San Francisco winning and going far. Jimmy's going to have to limit his mistakes. And towards that end of the game, he gave Dallas too many chances to win.
Crazy.
Too many chances. And Dak just being Dak, you know, I talked about it last night in the live. In my opinion, and now I'm going to kick it to you, Matt. My opinion, Dak stayed up too long. Dak should have slid at the 30-yard line. He slid at the 35. That wasted 5 more seconds. No, you shouldn't. But if you call it, right? We're living in the moment.
Yeah.
You call the play, you got to tell Dak, you go down as soon as you can. You don't pick up. It's not about yardage, bro. It's about making sure we have a little bit more room to throw the ball and get a shot into the end zone. Dak running that long to that 35, bro, that ticked the clock down to 7. And then another big mistake was, and I know I see it all over social media, people talking about it, was the referee getting in the way. No, if you watch it, referee comes from behind, and you even see Dak look at the referee. He looks at him, bro. Gives the ball to his center. He gave the ball to his center, and his center placed the ball. That's what wasted time. So kick it over to you, Matt. What was your takeaways away from that game?
I blame it on Tony Romo. It's the Romo gene that's been sent down, and I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, that's on Dak. I mean, if he didn't have, the game is mental. You're a quarterback. You give the ball to your center, and the referee runs into you, almost knocks you down, and then obviously the time ran out. But I put that on Dak.
He also said that the referees did not call to New York and talk to them before end of the game.
Well, they don't need to.
No, man.
They don't need to. Why would they? All right.
The game was over to me. Go ahead.
No, game was over.
Go ahead, Roy. Get your bag, Roy. Go ahead,
Look,
Roy.
I'm about to be in my bag because I watched this game from start to finish, man. And I gotta say, I loved every minute of it. I love watching the Cowboys lose, man. I swear. Oh my gosh. So I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this because it seemed like the key for the 49ers was literally just Jimmy G not throwing interceptions. That was the commentators, even, Tony Romo came out and was like, the 49ers win this game if Jimmy G doesn't do Jimmy G things. That's so true. That's so true. But the more on the Cowboys, I'm ready to go in. I'm so ready. I've been looking forward to this. So the Cowboys, what a joke. I mean, Mike McCarthy, what's going on? Why, if you don't have any time left, you have no timeouts, why are you calling a QB draw? Why? What is the reasoning behind that? And Dak Prescott, why are you giving the ball to your center? You know the rules. You know the ref has to touch the ball. Why are you giving it to your center? You're wasting time doing that in itself. And what happened to Zeke? I mean, yes, Zeke did get touches and everything, but where's that explosiveness? It's not there. And I love it. And my biggest thing of all, which people have argued with me of all time, is Trayvon Diggs is not a good cornerback. He is not a good cornerback. That man is burnt toast. And you saw that on full display. You see, everyone will go and say, 10 interceptions. Yeah, you get 10 interceptions if everyone throws at you because you're getting burnt every play.
With the Trey slander.
11 interceptions, correct.
11. I'm sorry. But he also gave up over 1,000 yards in the season. 1,000. Many receivers don't even have close to that. How do you give up over 1,000 yards? And he's in first place by most yards given up by a cornerback by almost over 150. That's insane. I think the cracks and the inconsistencies showed in the Cowboys. I'll stop my rant. I'm sorry. I just get so fired up. I love talking about them. I love talking about them because I hate them.
Go ahead, Frank.
Go ahead, Frank.
All right, so let's just be real. This loss sits at the feet of 3 people. One of them you got, Roy. Mike McCarthy. Mm-hmm. He is like Jason Garrett 2.0.
Literally.
Like what does he do? What does he do?
Dre Day said something last night. He said the reason why Mike McCarthy will still be a Cowboys coach is because Jerry Jones can control him.
Jerry Jones loved him. I didn't buy into all
same
of
thing as Jason
Mike.
Garrett.
I didn't buy into any of that at all. I didn't think he was going anywhere. If anything, I think the other 2 guys are leaving, and I think they'll leave on their own accord. You see, it just got reported today that Dan Quinn got 5. He got 5 reported offers already on the table. So who knows what he's going to take. But at the end of the day, it's at the feet of Mike McCarthy, number 1, number 2, Kellen Moore, Whatever game plan Kellen Moore cooked up yesterday was horrible. The fact that CeeDee Lamb didn't get his second target until the third quarter yesterday was just a travesty. The fact that they stopped giving the ball to Pollard, they stopped creating for him after Zeke showed you that he doesn't have anything left in the tank is just horrible. They put granted, this is what Dak should want. I mean, you should want everything to be placed at your feet. You should want all of the pressure and everything on you. But this team is not built like that. This team is built for all of the pieces to work together for this team to be an elite team, for that offense to take that next step. Amari Cooper, I tell you all the time, Amari Cooper is good for getting you a touchdown, an early touchdown, and then just disappearing for the rest of the game.
That's what
I mean, I don't know where this guy was, but the fact that Kellen Moore couldn't cook up any opportunities for CeeDee Lamb, your most explosive player, and the one catch he did get, it happened again. It got taken back because of the undisciplined offensive line. Just the team being undisciplined, that falls at the feet of Mike McCarthy. I mean, he just shows you that he's just he's not a competent head coach, and his team is undisciplined, and they show you at the biggest times they seem to give you all of these mistakes. They have 14 penalties yesterday.
Discipline.
I mean, it's just. And that just falls down to discipline.
Pre-snap penalties at that.
I think that's important to point out. Pre-snap penalties. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And lastly, and I know people want to put the blame on Zeke on Dak for what he did at the end, but Zeke have if this doesn't show that they have to move on from Zeke, then I don't know what else they need to see. Zeke is done. He is not that max player, that max paid running back that they paid for a couple years ago. It just seems like ever since it's been like the contract effect with these running backs. These guys get their big contract, they get their big money, and then it's just downhill. I mean, luckily that's not the case with Derrick Henry. He happened to get better after getting his money, but just with Zeke, Zeke. He shows you he doesn't really have that explosion. I mean, maybe he's not 100% healthy. Or do you really want to wait? You want to go through another year of Zeke not being 100% healthy? You know, at some point he's going to get hurt next year, so you're going to have to deal with this next year. I mean, I think it's time to move on from guys like Amari and
what they need to do
Amari
is lock Pollard down, because if not, somebody's going to snatch that kid.
Pollard and CeeDee, man.
And I hope it's the Giants.
I would like to share one step before I kick it over to Matt. Matt, I'm sorry, but I am affectionate about these Cowboys, man. Oh, I love it. So people with more playoff wins in the past 25 years than the Cowboys. You ready? Mark Sanchez has more wins than the Cowboys. Trent Dilfer has more wins than the Cowboys. Brad Johnson has more wins than the Cowboys, and Colin Kaepernick has more playoff wins than the Cowboys do in the past 25 years. 25 years.
That's crazy.
Thank you. That's my rant. Go ahead.
Okay, man.
No, man. I mean, Roy, I'm with you. I hate the Cowboys. Jerry Jones needs to go. He never will go until he dies, man.
Because,
and that's sad, because when I seen him in that booth, I was like, ooh, he on his way.
Yeah. So I don't have anything to add. I'm happy.
All right, so let's stay with you, Matt. Then let's go to the Buffalo New England game. What you got on that one?
Buffalo, Josh Allen. Oh my goodness! I mean, they beat the snot out of him. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I think they scored 7 touchdowns in 7 possessions.
Yes.
They had a perfect offense.
Perfect offense.
And the Patriots are supposed to be a good defensive team.
Yes.
Apparently, coming into the playoffs. So clearly, Tom Brady leaving there left a gaping hole. They thought it was Belichick, but the system seems to be broken down, because Mac Jones he didn't do a terrible job this whole year. He wasn't terrible. But they just ran into a buzzsaw.
Yes.
And hey, 7 touchdowns, 7 possessions. That's a wrap.
That was the perfect offensive game for you. Literally cannot ask for anything better. You cannot. It's impossible.
No, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, and also no punts, no field goals, and no fourth downs.
Perfect game. All around a perfect offensive game for them. That's the
first time in history,
impressive.
too.
Yeah, I'd say
the
first time it has ever happened.
Yeah.
And not just that, this wasn't some pushover defense.
But why had to be done by Josh Allen? Like, come on.
Because Josh Allen's like that, and you need to recognize.
He is
not. You need to recognize. Look, I'm telling you, this Bills team, they did it. Everything they did that game was convincing. There was times where people were questioning, are the Patriots better than the Bills? You know, they might take the division from the Bills.
But
they
why
might
would
do
that question be a question?
Because the Bills weren't the playoff Bills at that time. And now I think they convinced everyone that, hey, we're here and we're here to party. We're here to play for real.
I'm standing here and I don't believe it.
You know what? You don't have to believe it. That's okay. They'll go out there and win games. You don't need to believe in them. They don't need you to. Go ahead, Frank.
No trust in the damn Bills.
That's okay. Go, Frank.
I just think the league happened to figure out Mac Jones over the last 4 weeks of the season. I mean, it just seems like he's been having a rough couple of games, and it just all starting from that game in Indy where they got skunked by the Colts, man, by the Colts team, who is inconsistent, is just who knows what. I mean, that just started like this downhill slope for Mac Jones, and it didn't get any better. This game, I thought it was going to come more down. I thought Bill Belichick and his great mind, I thought it would play a little bit more of a factor than it did. But just watching the game, to be honest, like, because I really watched a heavy portion of the game, almost like 90-95% of the game. It just seemed like the Patriots' energy wasn't there. Like, they didn't really play with any type of fire. Like, they wasn't really fired up on the defensive end, like ready to stop guys. And Mac Jones he seemed a little lost earlier. I mean, he got going a little bit, but then after a while, he just seemed like he was lost early in the game too. And you can't get no run when you can't get no run game generated. You can't get any separation. You can't get anything created in the air. It was just a perfect storm for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, credit to Josh Allen proving that he still needs to be considered amongst the elite. I mean, I think that the Buffalo Bills' biggest issue is their run defense, and are they going to be able to deal with teams that can run the ball consistently and effectively? That's what I think we're going to see that next week with the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Kansas City Chiefs are able to run the ball to help out Patrick Mahomes and to help out that pass attack, then I think that they'll be in some trouble. But that's what it's all going to come down to. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks and which team can really hold up the run and give their secondary a chance to make some plays.
Well, a little further, Frank, I think another key point to this game, and then Roy, I'm going to kick it to you with the Raiders-Cincinnati game. A big key to this game is going to be the Bills running game, because the Bills can't establish with one game that makes them one-dimensional, and then you could just play zone all game. But go ahead, Roy. Raiders-Bengals.
Raiders and Bengals, that was a classic game, man. I think that was probably one of my favorite games to watch.
Best game on,
yeah, besides the Cowboys. But I think it was really a good one to watch. And this one kind of had some controversy around it with that roughing the passer call.
No, let's talk about the touchdown.
Yeah.
The whistle, the inadvertent
whistle that was blue. So the rule is when the whistle is blown, the play is dead. And it kind of seems like the NFL was like, oh, yeah, sorry, that's not the rule for this case, I guess.
Well, was it the NFL or was it the Reds? Was it the NFL or was it the Reds?
I don't know. Rigged. No, I'm kidding. It's not rigged. But it's just like, I don't know. That was just so odd to me. It was just a weird series of events where it was like
New England, Oakland all over again.
Yeah, because the analyst said the game is tied, bring them back, make them play Wednesday. But it's like, is the game really tied? Because now let's say that play is blown dead. And I think as a fan, this is what we miss, right? What people are taking is, was that throw on third down?
I don't remember.
I think
it was. I think it was. Yeah.
It was. So even if it's third down, right? If it's third down, they kick the field goal. They're close enough to kick the field goal, right? If I recall, right? So now that's still 3 points instead of you take away 4. So it's not tied. It's still a 3. If it comes down to it, it would still be a 3-point difference. And not saying that the Bengals would have not took it like, all right, we didn't score, we need to go down and score again, and they would have made another attempt to go down and get another touchdown to extend the game. I just think the Raiders didn't play a good enough game to win the game.
Well, see, the thing is, it came down to the very last play.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't, they'll look at the score and say like, oh, well, that kicking a field goal versus scoring a touchdown can change your whole game script. It can change your whole game script of how you look at, you going forward. I don't know. I think that was a tough one.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. If they kick the field goal, they get the ball back, and then they go down and score again, then you kind of replace that touchdown. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
Fair
the
enough.
game ain't over there.
Fair enough, but I think it does play a large factor in how you on your outlook of the game. And then the whole roughing the passer call.
When they playing to get the get the field goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at that roughing the passer call, that was kind of a little suspect. But I mean, that's been the story of the year for the whole NFL officiating.
But every
roughing the
playoffs,
passer.
why is it that? And I want to kick it, Matt. I want to kick it to you. Why is it that every playoffs we see plays like this or reffing like this? Why is that?
And I think the hardest job in the world is refereeing, just being a referee. I mean, 50% of the people don't like the call that you're making, but obviously they have replay. They have people upstairs to get it right. It pains me to see the Bengals move on, but the Bengals were a better team. I think they're just a better team.
I do think they deserve to win the game.
Yeah,
I don't think the Raiders deserve it. Even though if the Raiders scored a touchdown, they tie it and we go into overtime. I still think the Bengals played well enough to win it. I think, Joe Burrow could have made some better decisions, but that could fall on coaching too, with the play calling and stuff like that. The defense could have played a little better. I don't see the Bengals going far. I do think they lose the next round. But I don't know. I don't know.
Hate the Bengals, man, but they deserved it.
What you got, Frank?
I mean, shout out to the Bengals, man. I feel bad for Derek Carr. I feel bad for the Raiders. Everything. We all know everything that they had going on with that organization this year, man. But Smoking Joe, him and that connection, him and that Jamar Chase connection, it seems to have transitioned from the regular season and right on into the playoffs, man. They're still going to be a dangerous combination, even for the Tennessee Titans, man. I mean, I expect my Titans to go out there and be able to control the game on the ground, and hopefully, but it's definitely not a team or a game that the Titans can afford to make mistakes against, especially with the ability to put up touchdowns as quick as they can, man. So you got to be mindful of that and positioning and where you put those guys, the situations you put those guys in. Overall, I don't think that the defense is going to be able to hold up, especially with the physicality of our offense. And that offensive line better be ready for a long game too, because they struggle against real athletic and tough the front four and front seven whenever they matched up against those guys. But yeah, shout out to the Bengals, man. Good win.
Anybody got anything else to add about any games that you didn't miss? That you missed? No. Nothing to add, Matt. You got anything to add? We all good? All right, final thoughts, Roy. We out of here. We done.
Final thoughts, man. Look, thank you, Ben Roethlisberger, for your service and your commitment to the city of Pittsburgh. I mean, words can't even put into how much I loved and appreciate. I grew up watching him and Bill Cowher. It's really sad to see him go, but it was time. But I just want to say thank you, Seven, for everything you've done for the Steelers and the city and the organization.
Frank, final thoughts.
Tighten up this weekend, man. We right back to business. King Henry is right back on the field, man. He's back to practice. He's back to getting that, getting that train ready to hit them tracks this weekend. So, man, everybody tuned in, man.
Matt,
shout out, thanks, brother Matt, man, for
thank you, Matt, for being here.
Yep. Really appreciate you, good brother.
Thanks after this.
Anytime you want to stop through, man, just come and holler at us, man. You're more than welcome.
To the thanks after this, Matt. Final words.
Just had to give my thanks.
Words. I got it. Attitude, grit, the it factor, young and they don't care. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies are putting the NBA on notice. You don't know.
Sir.
My final thoughts is Kyler Murray get better. Man, we want to thank. Before I go. So I didn't do it anyway in the show because we was having a good conversation. The gift card is still out for open. All right, so I'm gonna post another video tomorrow when we post this. Now we're starting over. All right, so it's no longer you guys have to find the picture that says 18. Now you have to find the picture that's 20. This is episode 20. So the question that you guys have to answer on Instagram. Make sure you follow and then comment down below the picture the answer, the correct answer. All right. Don't give me the wrong answers or the right answer. That's not right. You understand what I'm saying? All right. The question is, in 2015, King James got how many first place MVP votes? Simple question. All right. Simple question. Get the right answer. Run over to Instagram from the sideline _podcast. Put that answer below that picture. First one that gets it wins a gift card. All right. And without further ado, Matt, we want to thank you, man. We want to thank you for stopping by. We always like new guests. You are our first special guest, and it's good to have you on episode 20, a solid episode. This is going to be our benchmark moving forward. And like the guy said, if you ever want to come back, you have my email, you have my number. I got you saved. Hit me up and we can make it work. Tuesday, Fridays, whenever you want to come on, just let us know. We love talking to you. It was a great show. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add before we close this out?
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, super pleasure, man.
Really enjoyed it. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Gotcha, bud.
Anytime. So guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, we're over on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And just leave us some comments, man. We want to talk to you guys. All right. And don't forget to, go follow our Instagram because we're going to be doing some lives over there where you guys can win some gift cards too. All right. Without further ado, this is From the Sideline Podcast. Peace.